Floyd Mayweather has revealed why he believes Shakur Stevenson will shock Teofimo Lopez, and it goes far beyond speed or defense. While many fans focus on Lopez's power and explosiveness, Mayweather points to habits only elite technicians notice: patience, positioning, and emotional control. The contrast is clear. Lopez thrives on chaos. Stevenson thrives on precision. According to Floyd, that difference changes everything once the pressure builds. His insight reframes the matchup, suggesting the real shock won't be a single punch, but how completely Stevenson could dismantle expectations. If Mayweather's reading is right, fans may be watching a masterclass unfold. When Floyd Mayweather talks boxing, the entire fight world stops to listen. This is a man who didn't just dominate his era, he defined it. So when Floyd Mayweather recently opened up about Shakur Stevenson and why he believed Shakur could shock Teofimo Lopez, fans immediately leaned in. And what Floyd revealed wasn't hype. It wasn't trash talk. And it definitely wasn't random. It was calculated, technical, and honestly a little scary if you're on the other side of the ring. Floyd Mayweather has always had a special eye for fighters who understand boxing on a deeper level. Not just power, not just athleticism, but ring IQ, discipline, and timing. And according to Floyd, Shakur Stevenson checks boxes that Teofimo Lopez has historically struggled with, even when Teofimo is at his best. Mayweather has followed Shakur's career closely, from his amateur days to his world title runs. And what stands out to Floyd the most is how Shakur controls a fight without forcing it. Floyd has said many times that the best fighters don't look rushed. They don't look emotional. They don't fight the opponent's fight. They make the opponent fight theirs. And that, in Floyd's eyes, is where Shakur Stevenson becomes extremely dangerous for someone like Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo is explosive. There's no denying that. He's fast, powerful, confident, and when everything clicks, he looks unbeatable. We saw that against Vasily Lomachenko, where Teofimo's timing and power completely changed the narrative of his career. But Floyd has pointed out something that many fans overlook. Teofimo thrives when the fight gives him moments, when there are openings, when the opponent commits, when emotions rise and exchanges happen. Shakur Stevenson doesn't give you those moments easily. According to Floyd's analysis, Shakur's biggest weapon isn't his speed or his defense alone. It's his patience. Shakur doesn't reach. He doesn't overextend. He doesn't bite on feints. He waits. And that waiting game can frustrate fighters who are used to controlling the tempo with power and aggression. Mayweather believes that frustration is the key factor here. Floyd has said before that Teofimo Lopez can be mentally drawn into fights when things aren't going his way. He starts looking for the knockout instead of letting it come naturally. Against someone like Shakur, who rarely makes mistakes and doesn't give you clean targets, that mindset can become dangerous. Shakur's footwork is another major reason Floyd thinks this fight could shock people. Floyd has always emphasized that boxing starts with the feet. If you can't set your feet, you can't punch properly. If you can't line up your shots, your power doesn't matter. Shakur is constantly repositioning, constantly adjusting angles, constantly just half a step out of reach. That forces opponents to reset over and over again, which drains energy and confidence. Teofimo likes to plant and explode. Shakur likes to glide and pick. Mayweather also pointed out that Shakur's defense doesn't look flashy in a way casual fans always appreciate. He's not always leaning dramatically or pulling straight back. Sometimes he's simply not there. A slight turn of the shoulder, a small step back, a subtle pivot. Floyd knows that style well, because it's the same kind of defense that allowed him to go undefeated. Another thing Floyd highlighted is Shakur's discipline outside the ring. He's not distracted. He's not chasing headlines. He's not overly emotional in interviews. Floyd believes that fighters who stay mentally centered are the ones who perform best on the biggest nights. Teofimo, on the other hand, has dealt with pressure, expectations, and personal challenges that sometimes spill into fight week. That doesn't make Teofimo weak. It makes him human. But against someone as composed as Shakur, those small mental edges can add up over 12 rounds. Floyd also talked about how Shakur adapts mid-fight. If something isn't working in the first few rounds, Shakur doesn't panic. He adjusts. He'll change distance, switch rhythm, or start targeting different openings. Floyd believes that adaptability is one of the hardest things to prepare for, especially for fighters who rely on explosive moments. Teofimo is at his best when he can read patterns and counter aggressively. Shakur doesn't give patterns easily. He breaks rhythm constantly. One round he's more defensive. The next he's stepping in with sharp counters. Then he goes quiet again. That unpredictability, according to Floyd, is exactly how you neutralize raw athletic talent. Mayweather also touched on something that doesn't get discussed enough: Shakur's accuracy. He doesn't throw a lot of punches, but the ones he throws land clean. Judges notice that. Opponents feel that. Over time, it shifts momentum in subtle ways. Even if Teofimo lands harder shots, Shakur's consistency and cleanliness could sway rounds. Floyd has always said you don't need to win every moment. You need to win the rounds. And Shakur is very good at winning rounds quietly. Another major factor Floyd mentioned is conditioning. Shakur's style doesn't burn energy unnecessarily. He's economical. Teofimo, when hunting for big shots, can burn more fuel than he realizes. If this fight goes into the later rounds, Floyd believes Shakur's calm approach could pay off big. What really made fans take notice was when Floyd hinted that Teofimo might underestimate Shakur early. Not intentionally, but stylistically. Shakur doesn't look dangerous in the traditional sense. He doesn't knock people out violently every fight. But Floyd knows that those are often the fighters who sneak up on you, because by the time you realize you're behind, it's too late. Floyd also emphasized that Shakur's confidence is quiet but unshakable. He doesn't need to prove anything with words. That kind of confidence translates in the ring. Teofimo is loud, charismatic, and intense, which can be an advantage, but it can also create pressure to perform spectacularly. In Floyd's mind, if Teofimo starts chasing highlights instead of focusing on fundamentals, Shakur will capitalize. Now, Floyd was careful to say this wouldn't be an easy fight. He respects Teofimo's talent, power, and heart. But when asked why Shakur could shock the world, Floyd made it clear that boxing is about styles, not names. And stylistically, this is a nightmare matchup for someone who needs openings and momentum. Shakur doesn't give momentum. He steals it. Floyd ended his thoughts by saying that fights like this are decided in inches, seconds, and decisions. One step too far, one missed angle, one round mentally given away. Over 12 rounds. That's where Shakur Stevenson thrives. So if this fight happens, and if Shakur executes the way Floyd believes he can, don't be surprised if Teofimo Lopez finds himself chasing a shadow, swinging at air, and slowly realizing the fight is slipping away. That's why Floyd Mayweather believes Shakur Stevenson could shock Teofimo Lopez. Not with power, not with trash talk, but with patience, precision, and pure boxing intelligence. And in boxing, that combination has ended a lot of hype trains before.